Hello and welcome everyone. In this we are going to discuss about the IP addressing part. And this topic we have divided into the multiple part so that we can understand the process easily. So let's get started with the initial things of your IP addressing, which is of what exactly the IP addresses are and how this IP addresses schema is going to work, right? So the very initial things which I would like to highlight, that we have discussed that for the proper transportations of your data we require two addresses. One is your layer 2 address and another is your layer 3 address, where the layer 2 address is basically considered as your physical address and the address is nothing but your MAC address, right? When it comes to layer 3, which works on network layer, also considered as the logical addressing here, and the address is your IP addresses. Okay. Now, when it comes to IP addresses, these IP addresses are basically the shorted form of your Internet Protocol address. And this is basically designed to provide the unique name within the network itself on the layer 3. So make sure the IP addresses are basically developed by an organization stand for IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force, and it is given to IANA, and IANA is maintaining and allocating this particular IP addresses. Okay, so let's get started with the very basic things on this. But the point to be noted, these two addresses are important, developed by this and maintaining and allocating by this. So let's get started. So as we discussed, the IP addresses is a shorter way of saying your internet protocol addresses, right? Now the basic concept is, the very basic concept is to give the network addresses to each and every devices within the network, so that you will be able to identify your networking devices and you will be able to send the data to the right place as well. And this logical addresses are basically works at the layer 3, and that is nothing but your OSI layer in the network layer in OSI models. IP addresses are just the numbers which is assigned to your network interfaces, and this numbers can be into the decimal format or it can be into the hexadecimal format as well, it depends. Okay, so an IP address, as we discussed, an IP address identifies a computers or other devices to a network or within the networks. Fine. Now there are two different versions of your IP addresses we have. So IP addresses has two different version. One is your version 4, another is version 6. Version 4 where it is of 32 bits of address, here it is of 128 bits of address, and these 32 bits are basically divided into 4 blocks. It is divided into 4 blocks, and here it is divided into 8 blocks. These 4 blocks are basically considered as octet. It is octet. Here it is called as quartet. And one octet contains 8 bits, and here one quartet contains 16 bits. This is very very important to remember. Okay, so the same thing is being explained, IP version 4 and IP version 6 that you have. Right now we are going to discuss the detailed into the same, where the IP version 4 will be the detailed discussion. Fine. Say this, as we discussed, the length of IP version 4 is of 32 bits of address and represented into binaries, which is zeros and ones. For example, 32 binary bits are there, right? And these 32 binary bits are basically separated into 4 octets, where you can see first octet, second, third and fourth. So first 8 bits, then second 8 bits, third and then fourth 8 bits, which is here represented in binary format. Now when you convert this, it is going to be into the decimal format, and one octet is separated by second octet by just giving a dot here. For example, 192.168.10.1 is one of the valid IP address. Like this you will be getting for each and every IP addresses separated by dots. Now, when it comes to IP version 4, one thing is very important to understand. The range of your IP addresses is going to start from here. See, there are two things to remember. As we discussed, the binaries, right? This binary can be 0 or it can be 1, correct? So consider when it is going to be 1, when it is going to be 0. Always remember, host is equal to 0 and network is equal to 1. Sometime it is called as off bit, sometime it is also known as on bit. Fine. So whenever it comes to ones, in the sense, that is network bits which is on, off bit which is zeros. So always remember, when you want to calculate the range for this, it's very simple to calculate. You can go ahead and put up 2 power 32. 2 power 32 is equal to total number of IP addresses you will be getting. So it's going to be around 4.3 billions of IP addresses in this. Fine. Now, when you try to calculate the range of IP addresses, then how it is going to be? It's all about, see, we have 4 octet, right? So write down 32. This is first octet, and then dot, then again 8 zeros, then dot, again 8 zeros, then dot, again 8 zeros. So first 8 0, second 8 0, third 8 0, fourth 8 zeros. 0 0 0 is equal to 0, is equal to 0, is equal to 0, is equal to 0. This is the very first IP address of your IP version 4. Fine. Now second thing, when you are going to put up the all ones, if you put up all zeros, then it will be the very first IP address, and that is nothing but this one. And when you go for this all ones, 1 1 1 1, like this, 8 ones, then again 8 ones, then again 8 ones, then again 8 ones. And when you go ahead and add these numbers, when you go ahead and add this number, you will be getting this 255.255.255.255. Okay, how? You can see here, it is all about this: 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4, 5, 6, 7, like this it will be keep on going. And when you calculate, this is 2 power 7, 2 power 6, 2 power 5, 2 power 4, 2 power 3, 2 power 2, 2 power 1, 2 power 0. See the value here. When you write the value, what it will be? It will be 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. So when you add this completely, it is going to form 255. Fine. So make sure you need to remember the IP address version 4, the very first IP address is this, and the very last IP address is this. And this is also considered as layer 3 broadcast address. Layer 3 broadcast address. Okay. So now we need to understand that in this IP addresses of IP version 4, it is starting from 0.0.0 to till 255, 255, 255. And in between, the number of IP addresses will be around 4.3 billions of IP addresses. Now, these IP addresses are now divided into different classes. Now they are divided into different classes. So we have the classes like class A, class B, and class C. These classes IP addresses are basically used for LAN and WAN communication. Class D IP address is reserved for multicasting and research, and class E IP addresses are reserved for research and development. Okay. Now, what is the range of your class A, class B, class C, and class D? We need to understand now. Say this. It is starting from here. Your class A range starts from 0 and it will go till 127. It is all about this. Let me give you the idea. So, IP address classes where, give me a moment. Yeah, say this. We have class A starting from 0.0.0.0 to till 127.255, 255, 255. Similarly, it goes to class B where it goes 128.0.0.0 to till 191.255.255.255.255. Similarly, for class C, it is starting from 192.0.0.0 to 223.255.255.255 is the range, and this is basically reserved for LAN and WAN communications. When it comes to class D, it is starting from 224.0.0.0 to 239.255.255.255, and this is basically reserved for multicasting. And one more class, class E, and the range is 240.0.0.0 to till 255, 255, 255, 255. This is basically reserved for research and development. This is the very first IP address of IP version 4. This is the very last IP address of your IP version 4. This is your layer 3 broadcast address as well. You need to remember it. Fine. So this is what one of the very important point to remember, guys. Now see this. So for class A, again, as you can see, for class A, as we have already discussed, it's going to be your 000 to till 127. Next goes to your class B, starting from 128 and goes to till 191, right? Similarly, you can see here the calculation is being done based on that only. It's like 128 to till 199, correct? Next we have class E, where 192 to till 223 we have already discussed, and class D 224 to till 239. Class E is equal to 240 to completely 255. Fine. Now this is different classes ranges. For example, class A range 0 to 127, class B range goes to 128 to 191, class C goes 192 to 223, class D goes 224 to 239, and class E 240 to 255. This is what the different classes and classes IP addresses and its use cases. So that's it for this lecture. We will see you in the next lecture.